You only have one chance to make a great first impression. And research shows that we often make our first impression within 7 seconds of meeting a person. And leaning on studies surrounding the subconscious, some people say we actually make our first impression in just a few nanoseconds. Wow, that's fast, but whatever time frame you believe to be the case, one thing is clear. In many situations, that first impression may be the only impression we ever get to make. And this is particularly true when it comes to job interviews. And if we don't make a great one, we'll be forever wondering why we didn't get the job. Hey everyone, Daniel here from Next Level Life, and today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to making a great first impression. I thought it'd be an interesting video to do since it kind of builds a lot on the last video about the 6 pillars of persuasion, so without further ado, let's get right into it. How can we make the most of our first impressions? The first tip is to prepare talking points ahead of time. You always want to do your homework before meeting someone new. You want to know who you're meeting, what they care about, what they might need from you, and how your talking points you've prepared could actually be brought up in conversation. But you don't have to go overboard with this. 2 to 3 talking points will probably do the trick. And these talking points should showcase your knowledge, strategic planning abilities, and grasp of the business. At least if you're doing it for a job interview. And ideally, these points will crop up organically during the course of your discussion. But if you do get to the end of the conversation and they haven't emerged, don't be afraid to say something like, hey, before we leave, there are a few things I wanted to make sure I mention. The second tip is to be mindful of your body language. Studies have proven that body language and other nonverbal cues can have as much as 4 times the amount of influence on first impressions as anything you actually say. Genuine smiles are a great winning ticket for creating a great first impression, and so are firm handshakes and purposeful eye contact throughout the conversation. So here are a few body language techniques to try out the next time you're going to make a first impression. The first technique is known as the hello old friend technique. Here's how to use it. When meeting someone new, imagine that they're an old friend of yours who, for one reason or another, you just lost contact with. But now, here the two of you are, out of nowhere, reunited. This joyful experience, even though it isn't technically real, starts a pretty remarkable chain reaction in your body, and believe me, the person you're meeting will definitely take notice. The second technique is one that I've talked about in my previous video entitled How to Get Her to Like You. It's called the flooding smile, and its effectiveness is astounding, especially nowadays when we don't always trust that the other person's smile is genuine. So here's how you can get the most out of your smile. When meeting someone, whether for the first time or the 1000th, take a second to look at their face. Pause, and then let a big, warm, and responsive smile fill your face and reach your eyes. This will wash over the other person like a warm wave, because that split-second pause where you looked at their faces as if attempting to recognize who they were before smiling lets them know that that smile was genuine and for them alone. And while those 2 techniques are all fine and good if you're confident enough to pull them off comfortably, when meeting someone new, unfortunately, that isn't always the case. Self-doubt can completely undermine our ability to project the confidence, enthusiasm, and passion needed to make a killer first impression. Thankfully though, there are physical exercises, commonly referred to as power poses, that can help you summon a little more self-confidence if you need it. These power poses are open, expansive, and space-occupying. Think of the Superman pose where he's standing up straight with his chest out and his hands on his hips. That's kind of what you're going for here. And research led by Dacher Keltner of UC Berkeley shows that adopting these poses for as little as 2 minutes prior to making your first impression can help you shed the fears and inhibitions that prevent you from bringing your fullest, most authentic, and enthusiastic version of yourself to the meeting. And as a side note, for particularly high-stakes encounters, it may also be worthwhile to videotape yourself ahead of time. Observing yourself in this way will help you identify how you can improve your delivery, which may also give you some added confidence. The third tip for making a great first impression is to build a rapport with the other person. The easiest way to do this is to find something the two of you have in common. It doesn't have to be anything that profound. It could be that you attended the same university, or that you have kids the same age, or that you've read the same book recently. The goal here is to create a connection on a human level. Finding out what you have in common with the other person might require just a bit of detective work on your part, but that's okay. Just look for clues about things they're interested in by glancing at their Twitter or Facebook pages. The point is, don't discount the value of small talk. Another thing that you could do to build rapport, which I went into in more detail on my video on the 6 pillars of persuasion, is to mirror the other person's body language or speaking patterns. Doing this will automatically make the person feel more comfortable around you, as long as you don't overdo it. A fourth tip for making a great first impression is to try and get the other person to tell you about themselves. This will also help build rapport, and unfortunately, one of the most common mistakes people make when trying to make a good impression, especially in situations like job interviews, is that they think that they have to impress the other person with their vast knowledge or list of accomplishments. Now you might be saying to yourself right now, well, hey, wait a minute, don't I want to impress the job interview? I mean, isn't that kind of the whole point of the job interview? Well, yeah, kind of, but you want to impress them in the right ways. If you become too focused on trying to impress them with your towering intellect and incredible list of accomplishments, you run the risk of coming off just a little bit desperate. Or, perhaps worse, a bit standoffish. And that's not the reason you want to be standing out from the crowd in any situation. The fact of the matter is that your goal is not to wow or dazzle the other person. It's to create a conversation that's memorable and engaging. So try to draw out the other person and listen to what they have to say. Maybe even lean in a bit so that they feel like you're really listening to them. It's no secret that most of us love to talk about ourselves. Not because we're self-centered, but because it feels nice to have someone else actually take a genuine interest in us. So be sure to ask the person open-ended questions like, hey, what are you most excited about right now? For one, it'll make them feel good, and they'll be more likely to have a positive impression of you afterwards. And for another, it'll also allow you to get a feel about what the other person is passionate about, and that'll give you more potential topics for small talk later on. The fifth tip for making a great first impression is to make sure you follow up on the meeting. Because even if you crush it during the interview by using these tips, your job isn't quite done yet. You can ensure that your awesome first impression sticks by writing a personalized note of sincere appreciation to the person that interviewed you. Ideally, the note should recap the conversation in a way that shows you've not only thought about it, but you've maybe even learned something new from it. So those are 5 tips for making a great first impression. Some other quick tips, I suppose, would be to be mindful of your appearance. That one's pretty obvious, but no less important because of it. Like I said earlier, impressions can be made in a matter of seconds, and once they are made, they're hard to change. So dressing appropriate is obviously important, so is being on time. Nothing's going to shoot you down faster than being late for a meeting, and what's worse is that you literally have no chance to change their opinion of you since you're not actually there. So always give yourself more than enough time to get wherever you're going, and arriving 10 to 15 minutes early is a good time frame to shoot for with a job interview. Also, don't forget your manners. Pleases and thank yous may not be used as often today as they were in the past, but all that means is you're going to stand out even more by using them. And displaying good manners and being humble have never left a bad first impression as far as I can tell. But this video is getting a little bit long, so I think that'll do it for me today. I hope these tips were helpful, or at least interesting for you. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more of them like this. I post every single Friday. So until next week, thanks for watching and have a great day.